And it's like, yes, you've been doing really good things in the draft. And this is where I think the Flames do have a chance to actually be one of these forward-thinking teams and really do a good job of this. I think we're all frustrated they haven't really put the pedal to the metal on the rebuild, on bottoming out.
Do you want to talk about this Francis?
Yes, I do.
What do you want to say?
Well, it was interesting because it's kind of like, hey, even Francis is on our side for Team Tank. The Tank conversation has gone mainstream. We're winning. Team Tank won, dude. But if you didn't read it, obviously, I think a lot has been made of it. But go read it. I mean, the article itself, like, there's a lot of things in it that are very Francis-y, right? Like, it's not like, oh, the Flames. It's not just strictly, oh, the Flames need to tank and like really commit to being bad this year. There's some stuff in there about like how they need to do it like Montreal did it, and still they've built this great culture and all this dumb shit. So, there's some Francis-y stuff in there. But overall,
let's be honest, Montreal is the new Dallas. If you're looking at how to retool, do a quick rebuild on a team.
Well, yeah, you even look,
but like we bring Nick Yakupon on what's his
watch the stats.
Watch the stats, and there's 3 teams that he says have been doing a remarkable job of drafting the last 2-3 seasons, and the way they're kind of building for the future. Montreal was one of them, and the Flames are one of them. So, I mean, you always keep bringing this up. Like, is Connie really doing 5D chess here? Is he really saying, "Don't worry, Mr. Edwards, we're actually trying to make the playoffs here"? Because you saw articles abound in the last week and a half from right after we recorded the last episode, because we were talking about Bieksa, the Sharon Govich stuff goes national headlines. He's scratched for 2 games. Then you got Friedman talking about on that same panel after the game, basically saying, look, if I'm someone in that organization, I'm basically put my hand up and saying, look, Connie, like, let's hold tight here, because we probably shouldn't be trying to add. But you saw articles after that game like, oh, Flames are back on the market. They want to add. They want to get some scoring. They want to fix this issue.
Help. Yeah.
Then you saw other articles like, no, they're just going to wait. So I don't know. You kind of see all these storylines, and some of them lead you thinking that, oh no, Connie is definitely trying to make the playoffs this season. We can salvage this. We can salvage this 1-9 start. No big deal. We can make it happen. Turn it around. But on the other hand, if you read between the lines, it's like maybe he does know what he's doing. Maybe he is. Right? What's the old magic trick? Watch this hand while the other one's doing the other. So I don't know. What is your kind of take on what Connie is actually doing with all the other kind of pontificating going on across the broad, whatever, whoever's.
Well, we've talked about it before, and why it's hard to discern what's actually going on, because we all kind of have the sense that because you just look at what he's done. You look at the lineups he's put forth to start the last 2 seasons in particular, and it's like there's no way Craig Conroy came into the season last year with that blue line thinking, yeah, we're going to actually make the playoffs. Like, you can't convince me of that. There's no way. Everybody was like, this team's going to suck. They're so bad. And then Dustin Wolf did what he did, and some guys stepped up. Kadri stepped up. Huberdeau had a pretty good year. And then again this year, did he add anything in the offseason? No. So you look at 3 seasons where, okay, he's saying a lot of things that maybe piss us off. He's saying things at the trade deadline last year like, oh, we believe in the group. Got to give these guys a chance. He headed into his first season really giving them the benefit of the doubt, being like, we're not going to tear this whole thing down because, there's still a really good team here. And it was just the big mean coach that was the problem. No, but he's traded a bunch of veterans. He didn't add anything over the last 2 years. I kind of get the sense that he thought they would be further along in this tank. I feel like Conroy is maybe, I don't know if anxious is the word, but I feel like if you ask him truthfully, he's probably a little annoyed that they don't have more to show for the last 2 years in terms of like high-end draft picks. They've picked 9th and 18th. in the first round, 9th, and whatever Greedon was late 20s and 18.
It's looking like a great pick, by the way.
Still looking like a great pick, but I think if you ask Craig, like straight up, he thought that one of these last 2 years would probably have yielded him at least another top 10 pick, you know? So I think that's definitely at play. I think what this article from Francis is, because the fact it's coming from Francis, you have to think about this a little bit logically. He's a guy who often carries water for the organization or puts out ideas that the organization is kind of wanting out there, right? It's kind of his thing. Like he you know, I kind of felt like this. Yeah, I kind of felt like this article was maybe a litmus test. The Flames are talking about this, like, hey, can we actually start using the word rebuild? Because the organization seems for some reason to think the fans wouldn't support a San Jose type teardown when in reality we would. You know, the best thing about the last 3 years is how many players they've moved out and how many picks they've acquired and nailing the draft. That's when 99% of the fan base is excited about. So it's kind of just that little extra, that final extra step. Are they willing to take that final extra step? So this article felt to me like a litmus test out to like, okay, we're thinking about doing this. We're actually thinking about internally about maybe we should trade Kadri. Maybe it is time to trade some of these players who are keeping us from being bad to being really bad in the McKenna conversation. So you got to think they're having these discussions internally, because you know what, for as much as Conroy has kind of tried to be bad, I think he's still doing it like kind of neutered a bit, tempered a bit, right? We can't say the word rebuild. We can't do that. They're always saying we can't do this.
And I know a lot of fans jump on that and say, well, it's because of Murray Edwards. You got to keep him happy. But maybe you're right. Maybe it is. There's a whatever percentage of fan base it is. And I know they always have their season ticket holders and, in mind, and they have to do that. They're a business. Are they doing it more so for a business, like a business decision to keep their fans happy because they think that they're going to lose business because I mean, I don't know if it was you or somebody else posted, but they're like, if you're the Flames organization, you're wondering what fans want to see. I mean, we're getting this slop.
Yeah.
Where the coach just
Coronado's not playing. He's playing on the fourth line.
The coach has a 1400th, reiteration of the exact same lineup. Just shakes the boggle board every night. But Red Warner on the barn burner had get the bingo machine out. Pick your lines with bingo balls. It's basically
that's what they do, though. That's not a joke. That's pretty much what's happening.
It's basically what they're doing.
Who's the scratch tonight?
But do you think, like, if you're the organization, and maybe they just don't know, and maybe most fans they don't want to. They like the slop. They want to see the Flames going for the. But in actuality, if you really were to quiz everybody on it, like, I feel like the fans want to see exciting hockey. They want to see all this young skill. I mean, look at Montreal. Obviously, they're 2-3 years ahead of where we are right now, but they're the most exciting team to watch. Are they not? Who's more exciting right now? Maybe the Devils?
Same boat, 2 first overall picks. They've been rebuilding for a while. Heischer's a number 1 pick. Obviously, Jack Hughes. Like, even San Jose, like, look at what Celebrini's been doing through the first 10, 11 games of the season.
Puts up more points 2 nights ago in one game than anybody on our team has all season long.
They beat New York, and he had more points than our leading scorer, and Will Smith had like as many points as our leading scorer in one game. So it was like, yes. So I don't know if it's a fan thing. I don't know if it ever really has been. I think that's probably consideration. I just think they're just stuck in a certain mindset. I just don't think the organization is particularly forward thinking, and they never have been. This kind of ties into what I was ranting about with like the differences between a team like Vegas and a team like Calgary. The Flames as an organization are just very safe. They don't take risks. They don't have like forward thinking people in the organization generally who are like, I'm taking us to this place and I'm going to be aggressive about it. And we're going there. It's just kind of like, well, we'll see what happens. And then we'll go from there. That's kind of what it is. So,
So
and the fan base
is like, it's neither. You don't think it's the owner calling the shots, or they're trying to to make solid business decisions and make sure they're, the seat sales don't go down. You just think it's old school.
I think it's just old school thinking.
Yeah, you're
old school kind of incompetence. Because like you can't be this, because I was thinking about this the other day when we were referring back to that legendary press conference where they straight up said we're not allowed to say the word rebuild.
Not even allowed to use it.
Dude, like that's the other thing you have to remember is they were fine going forward with like Tree Living still here. They wanted things to stay the same as much as possible. Don Maloney cried at the press conference. He cried when Brad Tree Living left. He had tears that this man was leaving the organization. And they wanted him to stay. They begged him to stay. And then, as much as I think Conroy...
Thank you, Daryl.
Yeah, thanks, Daryl, for bullying the whole organization to get rid of some of these people. But then at the same time, right, go back to the conversations we were having when it's like, who should Brad's replacement be? And we were like, I think Conroy deserves a shot, but we hope they surround him. We hope there's a lot of new hires.
Like what'd you say the other day? The new GM is the same guy that's been in the organization for how many years? Yeah. Surrounded by all the same guys that have been in the organization for how many years?
Yeah. Coach, same. He's been around the team for 15 years. Everybody, nothing's really changed. The outside hires you made to come counsel Conroy and help him are like Dave Nonis. And it's like the new GM is the guy who ran the PR department for like 20 years. So it's like, it's a lot of the same. And it's not a lot of new thinking necessarily.
Yeah.
So
not like you see in Carolina. I mean,
yeah.
Yep.
They brought Tulsky in, or they're not like these other teams who are constantly forward thinking. Like I made the joke about Vegas doing things that makes the rest of the league go, are they allowed to do that? It's just a lot of safe moves. So that's what I really think is probably at the core of it. I think it's probably influenced by, a fear, this irrational fear of like, look what happened in the 90s when we did the Young Guns thing, and we can't really do this, or we just need to be in the playoffs. I just think it's probably a lot of old school mentality thinking. So the fact that Francis is writing about this to me tells me that the organization is finally getting ready to, okay, we probably need to do this. So we probably really need to put our thumb on the scale.
We're 1-8. We're
1-8.
We're behind the Sharks.
Look at who's available in this upcoming draft. The last two drafts we've really done well, but we haven't picked in the top echelon of the draft, and we haven't made the playoffs. So I feel like Conroy's probably looking at it, and I think Craig is probably more on the side of we really need to do this more than anybody else. But he's probably looking at it, okay, this is going to be our fourth year in a row out of the playoffs. Yes, we've nailed some drafts, but we still haven't had that like Bennett pick, that could even a Kachuk or a Monahan in the top. Zane Preck's the highest pick at 9.
Bennett pick.
Yeah, Bennett pick.
Great.
But we haven't got our generational superstar yet. And he's got to be looking at that. And I feel like, okay, combined 4 years out of the playoffs, because you're not making the playoffs this year. 4 years out and you still haven't got that player. And it's like, yes, you've been doing really good things in the draft. And this is where I think the Flames do have a chance to actually be one of these forward-thinking teams and really do a good job of this, because we kind of mentioned this. It's like, I think we're all frustrated they haven't really put the pedal to the metal on the rebuild, on bottoming out.
And it was funny because, I mean, directly after following that Francis article, I can't remember who it was, but they tweeted out that Craig Conroy is not sitting on his hands. He's actively searching for something to help this team, right?
Right back at it.
And I think you on your Instagram stories, you're like, and we're back.
We're back.
We're back. We thought we were tanking, but no, we're back. There was another article that there's a report, Maple Leafs Flames among teams interested in Chinikov.
No.
So then you're just like, holy fuck, man, we can't even tank properly. This is where we're at. We're going to try and turn this thing around. 1-8, almost mathematically eliminated fucking 2 weeks into the season.
Well, and I think this is what people maybe just don't understand. I get we're a bit extreme on the show in our criticism and our constant hammering on things, but I think we have to be, because
why are you so negative?
because
when you
the
have
media,
one dick all for 30 years and your organization is still making the same mistakes they've been making for 30 years.
And the media doesn't hold them accountable at all.
No,
And that's why
we have
that's why we had come on here and are crazy. And, you know, I realize that the Flames have traded off a ton of veterans and have, you know, done a really good job in the draft, but they still haven't taken that final step to really push themselves into being a team who's going to be picking in the top 3, which is what they need to do. You know, if they wanted to do that, they would have traded Nazem Kadri. They would have traded Blake Coleman because, you know, you look at how good Dustin Wolf was last year. If you trade,
re-signed Backlund, they wouldn't have fucking.
Yeah, exactly. If you trade Kadri, even just Kadri last year, that team, where does that team finish? Even with how well Wolf played. If you trade Kadri and Coleman, like those guys are good enough that they're keeping us in this kind of mid-tier bubble. So that's what you really need to start doing. And what I was going to say is they do have a chance to be kind of like because Francis made the argument, like, do a Montreal style rebuild. It's like Montreal actually hasn't, if you look at their moves, and I think Ken Hughes is a good GM and a smart guy, they made a lot of weird moves. You know, they kind of made a lot of, like, I think tree living moves where they were trying to really speed things up and get back on track really quick. And some of his trades were like, whoa, what, like not great moves. Like, and I even look at a team like New Jersey. Like, they've done a lot of
Sean Monahan for 2 first-round picks was brilliant.
Yeah, that is a legendary generational move. Would the Flames ever do something like that?
Why would
imagine if the Flames had done something similar with imagine if they had done something similar with Sharangovich as the Habs did with Monahan. It's like you get Sharangovich, you rehabilitate his value, then ship him out for, right? So the point being is that Montreal actually made, you know, quite a few mistakes. I mean, they've kind of reeled it back in. But, you know, they were trading picks for like Kirby Dach right away. They were making some of these, like, we're going to get back into contention quicker. So the Flames right now have set themselves up. See, and this is the one thing you can say about Conroy is he hasn't, like, made any monumental fuck ups yet. You know, the Philly trade's kind of looking like it was pretty unnecessary at this point in time, maybe. And, you know, that might actually have to do more with the coach and how he's using these guys.
Yeah,
but
you know, when it all said and done, it's one of those lateral moves.
Yeah.
It doesn't really move you forward, doesn't really hold you back. You can still deal with it. And I think that's the point you're making, is just nothing really he's done this is really
he hasn't done anything egregious where it's like he's traded a first-round pick in this, like, in the middle of a rebuild. That's like, whoa, we're going to lose like a top 10 pick or something, you know? Like he hasn't done anything. He hasn't made a huge mistake. And I'm not saying that these other GMs have, but it's like you can see them trying, like New Jersey. They're signing big ticket free agents. They're kind of making some of these trades, you know, and they're really good now. But what if they didn't do some of those things? You know, so the point being, the Flames have an opportunity where it's kind of like they have a blank slate right now. They kind of already have a bit of a head start, having 2 excellent drafts in a row. And, you know, maybe an okay draft and then 2 really excellent drafts. If you start pressing your thumb, if you start tanking now, like, say, okay, the next 2 to 3 years our sole purpose is to pick as high as possible. And you add Gavin McKenna plus, and like Landon DuPont plus, if you keep picking up first-round picks somehow, you add that to a group that already includes Dustin Wolf, Zane Parekh, Cole Reshny, Matt Greedon, you know, some of these other Battaglia, Basha, some of these other guys that are looking really good.
Brstevich, where are you, Brstevich?
Wittenbach's having a great start to his season this year. Like, if you add the top end talent to a prospect pool that has been built up really strongly over the last 2 years, think about where you'd be in 5 years. Like, just think about that. They would be set up tremendously. So this is the opportunity. This is kind of what I think everybody's thinking. Okay, it's now or never to do this. Whether you agree with the tank, whether you think they've done a good enough job in the draft so far, this opportunity that is in front of us right now, where we're last in the league right now, if we sell off some of these pieces, who the fact that Nazem Kadri still has unbelievable value in the NHL trade market, take that as a miracle.
Absolutely.
Think where you were at 3 years ago with guys like Kadri and you were like, could we pay someone to take him? Now you're like, let's start a bidding war. Elliot Friedman says now that there's no trade, his no movement clause has been modified. Teams are lining up. Teams are all over this, saying, what can we do to get Nazem Kadri on our team?
Yep.
Blake Coleman would probably be the same. He's playing some awesome hockey. Obviously, I don't know what's going on.
He's still valuable on a third line for a cup contending team.
Dude, on a cup, slide him in on a third line on any cup contending team. Yeah. Holy cow. So you have an opportunity to do something fucking unreal here. And it's like, this is like a small window of time where you can just like put your thumb on the scale. We're going to suck for the next 2 years and we're going to come out of it.
But like you already have exciting players to watch. Like,
yeah,
like if I go to the Dome right now, I'm going for 2 reasons: to watch Dustin Wolf and to watch Zane Parekh. And I'll pay to watch that.
You're not going to be
I want to see I want to see more ice time for Parekh. And that's where we're at right now on this timeline is the fans want to see the young talent. That's what they want to see.
The problem being in all this is I can wax poetic about this unbelievable opportunity that the Flames have right here. The problem is what we just talked about is that they are still kind of an old school team. And Steinberg on Flames Talk, I just saw Rob tweeting about this, was reiterating what we were saying 2 weeks ago, that any kind of movement from Kadri is any kind of movement really towards this tank conversation is going to have to be initiated by a player. And Steinberg was reiterating that today on Flames Talk. Steinberg said he's been told repeatedly that any type of trade conversation surrounding Nazem Kadri will have to be initiated by Kadri and his camp. And we're back.
Jesus, why?
So
why?
That's just the frustration.
What would Vegas do? We should, those little
exactly.
What would Jesus do bracelets? Connie needs to get a what would Vegas
WWVD, exactly. What would any forward-thinking team do? Look, I saw this thing where they're not even gonna, his 1,000th game is coming up. And
they're not definitely not moving him before
they're definitely not. It's like, what? Vegas would move him during this ceremony if it was what's good for the team. Exactly. It's like, hey, stop, you're gone.
Yeah, you can't play tonight. Sorry.
So this is what's so frustrating is, like you said,
we're pulling you.
You read the Francis article. It's like, hey, maybe the team is actually finally taking this seriously. Either 1-7 or whatever. 1-8 losing streak to start the worst start in franchise history. And then the next report is Flames are looking for scoring help. It's like, fuck me. You listen to 32 Thoughts and Elliot Friedman's like, teams are lining up. Teams are all over Nazem Kadri. Next tweet. The Flames will not trade Kadri unless it's initiated by Kadri.
Jesus, man. And another report from Saravelli over the weekend. This is good, better. Craig Conroy is putting down the phone. He is giving them an opportunity to play their way out of it. And again, you're kind of seeing what are they saying and what are they doing, right? And that's kind of what this episode really is coming down to is we have to read between the lines. We can't necessarily take what they're saying at stock value. It's more a matter of what actions Connie ends up taking and doesn't take, right?
Yeah, it's true. You have to judge them based on what they're doing and not what's being said. The problem is this is kind of like we're getting into they're not doing anything territory, right?
Yeah.
Because how many months removed are we from the mass exodus of like trading Lindholm and Tanev and everybody? We haven't really done much in the last 16 months, haven't really done anything. Anderson's still here. Kadri, they're not even talking to Kadri about a trade still. Goldman, these guys are still here. So,
I mean, if this, season continues the way it has with the winning percentage we have, by December, January, these are 3 guys you have to move. You have to move Anderson, you have to move Kadri, and you have to move Coleman. Hopefully you can get at least 2 firsts. Kadri will net you a first. I don't see how.
Nah. We're gonna wait this out. We're gonna let the player decide and then wait it out too long. And then
we got an 8-game heater coming to get back up to 500.
And then we're gonna get left with Mir Manov for Kadri. That's what's gonna happen.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365. We're in the betting overtime win is barn burner. Every face-off, hat-trick, power play, shot on goal, every penalty shot, and every suspenseful minute in between is amazing. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. At Bet365, an official partner of the NHL. Download the Bet365 app and use the code NATION to get in on the game. Must be 19 or older. Please play responsibly. So you touched on it. This was the other big kind of headline throughout the week was Calgary's no trade list, because it was originally thought, if you're looking at some of these online websites that track salaries and whatnot, that the 13 no trade list kicked in next season, but Elliott has confirmed since that it's actually this season. So it was originally thought that you kind of have to maybe trade Calgary next year if you want to have more bidders lined up, but that's actually not the case. It's already in effect. So as Elliott is saying, there's 13 teams. Well, there's 13. It's 13 no trade, right?
There's 13 teams he can't be traded to. Yes.
So he can control, and even that might change, right? Because these lists are made when the contract, or do they update it every season? How do these no trade?
I feel like sometimes they're updated. I don't know if you might talk to them before the beginning of every year. I'm not sure exactly how that would work. It's probably different,
or it's just like, hey, give us your list.
Yeah, like we're right going to trade you soon.
You know, if the season keeps going this way, we got to look at all options. What's your list look like?
Yeah.
But that opens the door.
That's huge.
That's 27 teams.
Well, and I can't 13. Imagine. The thing with Kadri is that his list is probably a little different than maybe some other guys.
32 minus 13.
19 teams.
19 teams. Like if you have 19 teams, let's say 10 of those teams are legitimately in the race.
For the Flames, that's like a miracle, because usually we're always down to there's only one team he wants to go to, and he won't go anywhere else. So you're just going to take whatever shit they can give you.
He doesn't want to go there, but we don't want to hurt his feelings.
Oh, shoot. He doesn't even want to go there. He's not sure yet. We're just like, okay, sounds good. We'll just keep him then.
When's his 1,000th game coming?
It's no bad. It's like even the fact they haven't learned, how did they not learn from trading the franchise player? Like the first time this ever happened with Iggy, where it was they waited way too long to trade him and didn't see the writing on the wall for way too long, and we're just stuck in this we can never trade a Ginla mindset, and then held on to the point where they got absolutely fucked in the trade so hard, because even one of the teams that was on Iggy's no trade list, they're like, okay, we're trading you to Boston. At the last second, Iggy's like, I'm not going to Boston. No way. Trade me to Pittsburgh instead. That should have been the first and only time that ever happened. Yet it happens all the time. It repeats every year, it seems. It's you think they would have learned their lesson, but I guess not, eh? So 19 teams to deal with the Flames is dude, this is open
How
season.
could they possibly fuck this up? Just wait and see.
You just wait. You just wait.
We'll find a new way. We're
we'll
the
find
opposite
a
of
new
Vegas.
way.
We're the opposite of Vegas. We'll find a way to fuck this up.
How did they get Kenny Augustino and Ben Hanowski for Jerome McGinley?
Oh my God.
I don't know. That's pretty fun. How did they get Daniil Miramanov and pretty much a second for 26-year-old Noah Hannafin?
That's Pittsburgh management. They're retired, hanging around the clubhouse. They're still laughing about this. Remember that time we fucking got a Ginla for fucking
nothing?
Oh my God, that was amazing.
So I don't know, dude. It's just the endless struggle. I don't know why. If you're the Flames, you just have to stop this. We're going to let you have to take control of this situation. And that's ultimately
that's why you're sitting here as fans yes, let the losses keep piling up.
Exactly.
It's the only thing that's going to make them fucking do the right thing.
And that's what people kind of fail to understand. Well, not maybe fail to understand, but like I said, we're kind of extreme. We come on here ranting and raving every week, but it's that's what's ultimately the most frustrating. It's not where they finish. It's not finishing in the middle. It's not anything other than, because you know people in your life who they can't make a fucking decision, and it's you're trying to go for dinner and it's they're where do you want to go? I don't know. And it's do you know how fucking annoying that is? That's
no, my favorite is you're standing in line for 10 minutes at the coffee shop.
Oh,
some lady's just Oh, I'm at a coffee shop right now. Do I want coffee?
What's good? I don't know. What's your favorite? What
That's
should
the
I
worst.
get?
You get
I don't
lines.
like matcha.
It's some middle-aged lady just like, oh, this is going to take forever. Sure enough, it's like the most complicated order of all time. It's not even on the fuck. Can you fucking maybe? Anyways.
That's like the Flames. That's what's frustrating, is that you hear all these things. You hear Elliot Friedman say somebody in the organization needs to stand up and say, no, we do need to commit to tanking. Teams are lining up for Nazem
Put the phone down. We don't need to add at the moment.
Next thing you read, Flames will not trade Kadri likely unless it's initiated by Kadri. Why? It's just like, that's what's just frustrating for people. Can you even if you don't agree with us,
like
can
I
you
said,
be empathetic?
We can't base on what they're saying. We got to base on what they do.
Well, we're giving them a chance here. If they don't trade Kadri, if they don't trade Anderson, if they pull the shit where they don't do anything at the deadline, and let's say somehow they get back into it, then it's going to be open season. This is like this window of time. They have an opportunity. If they don't take it, we're going to start flipping tables and shit.
Hey, buddies, thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Also, if you could throw in a like and subscribe, it does help us out with what it is we are doing. And check out more at flamesnation.ca.